Good morning, everybody. This is your boy, this is your men's life coach, Rolando. Thank you again for being here with us on our live podcast. We are so excited. It is a Thursday. It is a Thursday. I hope that so far this week you have had a great week. Hope that you have been able to achieve some goals. Hope that you've been able to, get things done. As we speed towards Christmas, and this is a Christmas season. Hope that you have all taken some time to complete your shopping. I know that for those of us who live in Canada, we have gone through a huge, postal strike that lasted for a month. Our postal workers here in Canada, they were ordered back to work. So they started work again on Tuesday of this week. And I wanted to acknowledge all our postal workers, and I wanted to say, thank you to all our Canada Post postal workers who have been consistently delivering the mail right across, the terrain of Canada. We appreciate you guys, and we just want you to know that we are hoping that something will work out for you. Those guys were ordered back to work, and they never got any sort of, how do you call it, satisfaction. They never got what they were looking for, and I'm a strong believer that people should be paid what they are worth. So Canada Post workers, I send my love, my appreciation, my validation to you for the hard work that you've done. I also want to send, and acknowledge, all those who are teaching assistants. They call themselves Kupi. I want to acknowledge Kupi and all the hard work that they do in the classroom to support our children. You know, uh, moving forward, I just want to sort of say, hey, shout out to you once again. Just to reset the room, I want you guys to just remember that we are here live every morning at 5:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So if you are in another country or even another province in Canada, you may be in a different time zone. But I just want to say I appreciate you. Today, as you can see, guys, it's ugly sweater day. I know you probably do or don't, but this is me, displaying my ugly sweater, and saying, hey, guess what? It is a beautiful day and it's a beautiful time, you know. Hey, how are you? Good morning.
Nice, and you?
Yeah, great. Where are you joining us from?
Germany?
You're joining us from Germany. Great to have you. Well, my name is Rolando, and this is our podcast. We talk about
Roland,
men's.
my friends, let's go to match.
Pardon?
Let's go to match.
What's that?
Okay, I don't listen to you, Roland.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, guys, let's go. Let's go to win.
Okay. So our
Let's
podcast
go.
here on
Team,
XY
team, team.
Spark is we are here just to we are here just to say to you that we want to um, give you that opportunity as much as it's possible to be a part of our conversation, to join in the conversation. Why? Because here at XY Spark, we believe that the key to healthier, holistic, healthy masculinity is to empower and help more of our men to really manage their mental health more effectively and more efficiently. So, what we're going to be talking about today, guys, is healthy relationships. Healthy relationship. What does a healthy relationship look like? What does a healthy relationship look like? And in your mind, and the way that you're living your life, you know are you doing well on the relationship front? Do you see that there is room for improvement? Okay, how do I know when I'm in a healthy relationship? And to all our live viewers, those who are live on TikTok, we appreciate you. We thank you for constantly connecting. We thank you for sharing your thoughts. We thank you for liking. We thank you for those who have been subscribing to our YouTube channel. And for those who are on YouTube Live, we just want to remind you that you can go back to YouTube and watch these live podcasts, and you can feel free to, really share what was your takeaway as you took the time to listen in to our podcast. And so let's talk about, what does a healthy relationship look like. Let's talk about, what does a healthy relationship look like. We want to establish one thing as we go on in our conversation, that there are relationships, and there are healthy relationships. And this morning, we want to talk specifically, not just about relationships, but healthy relationships, because oftentimes uh, we are not in healthy relationships. And I want to speak to our men, because sometimes the piece that's interesting is, a lot of us as men, we are not aware when we are in an unhealthy relationship, because we have normalized certain behaviors, and those behaviors, we tend to see them as okay. And the thing about it is, when we as men see certain things in relationships as okay, we end up being more hurt, being more resentful. We get a little bit more angry. We get a little bit more aggressive. We do things more, on the me side versus the us side, because we have normalized certain behaviors, and those behaviors start hurting us, hurting our self esteem, hurting our identity, hurting the way we see ourselves. We are not as confident as we once were. We are not motivated as we once were. And those things happen time and time again. And today we want to talk about having a healthy relationship, and what are those signs that we need to look for as it relates to having a healthy relationship. We do want to say, that we do have life coaching calls. And, what we do here on Express Park is, we talk about men's mental health. And we want to seek to normalize those conversations as we continue to promote the reality that men's mental health is something that we don't talk about enough. And also that men's mental health is not a myth. And we want to continue to keep this as a revolving door as we talk about men's mental health. Wherever you're joining us from, I see you. I'm just send a shout out to you out there. I see you, Nelly. I see you, Julabel. I see you, Jason. Thank you for being here. Please, guys, feel free to type a comment in the chat. You can join us live on Podbean. You can join us live on YouTube. And for those who are here on TikTok, we appreciate you. So, healthy relationships. What does a healthy relationship look like? The first thing that we want to establish is that a healthy relationships makes room for you to share your feelings. Healthy relationships makes room for you to share your feelings. And I'm going to say this to you guys. If you are in a relationship and you're not allowed to share your feelings, each time you share your feelings, it's almost as if you feel like you should not be talking or sharing feelings because you're a man. You should be tough. You should deal with it. Then that relationship is not a healthy relationship. That relationship is a hurting relationship. And you should be able to share your feelings in a healthy relationship. As a man, you should be allowed to do that. You shouldn't be withheld from doing that when you're in a relationship, because the moment that's how you feel, or that's how you're functioning in the relationship, there's something going on that needs to be addressed. So a healthy relationship, you should learn how to share feelings. Now, there are healthy ways to share your feelings, and there are unhealthy ways. And there are also some abusive ways to share your feelings. All right. Healthy ways to share your feelings in your relationship is when both partners feel safe and secure to do that. All right. It's okay for you to tell your partner how you feel, and your partner is able to acknowledge that. When your relationship is unhealthy, is when Your partner is someone who they expect validation from you, but your feelings are never validated. That relationship becomes an unhealthy relationship. And we want to look at ways that we can share feelings in our relationship and do it in a healthy way. It should not be abusive, it should not be aggressive. And so the idea is creating a safe space in the relationship to share feelings. A healthy relationship also consists of, a healthy or a safe space to communicate, right? Both persons in the party has to learn to communicate in a healthy way. So learning how to communicate in healthy ways in your relationship is key. All right. And communication, and healthy communication is when both partners are able to listen to and respect each other's points of view. All right. You're not the only person who has a point. You're not the only person whose point is important. You have to learn to hear your partner out. You have to learn to connect with your partner where they're at. You have to give and you have to receive. And when you know that a relationship is unhealthy, is when you always want to be on the receiving end. You're never giving, right? You want to be on the receiving end. A healthy relationship at risk, the communication is you're making decisions together. A healthy relationship is not dictatorship where your partner feels that they always need to be telling you what to do and you're not able to make any decisions because hey, you're not capable of doing it. Sometimes, it's about hey, we're in a relationship, let's make some decisions together here about this, right? And we're talking about big life decisions, but as an adult and as you're growing, you should be allowed to make some decisions as well by yourself because yes, you're together, but there are times when the understanding is you have to also learn sometimes to make some decisions by yourself, but those decisions you're making them in respective of how that will impact your partner. Hey, that one, I see you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate your presence. And that one, I want to just recognize that one as one of our more frequent, participants here on TikTok Live. Great to have you. And so recognizing this, guys, is key to having a healthy relationship. All right. So number one, we talk about sharing feelings in a safe space. Number two, we're talking about communication and both partners being able to respect each other's point of view and sharing that together. The next piece that I want to talk about as it relates to a healthy relationship is how we deal with disagreements in a relationship. Because remember, persons are going to not agree all the time. All right. But oftentimes in a relationship, you may have persons in a relationship or they're short fused, they're easily angered, right? And they're not acknowledging it. There's a lot of blaming, there's a lot of finger pointing, there's a lot of if only you would change and our relationship would be better, or things are not good because I ignore versus hey, maybe I need to ask myself, am I doing something that is sort of triggering my partner? What is my partner responding to? Is there a way maybe that I need to go back and revisit my approach in the relationship? So when we talk about disagreement, it's understanding that the partners disagree but they still talk respectfully to each other. That's key. We disagree, but we still talk respectfully to each other, right? We still work together so that both of us can get what we need out of it. That's a healthy relationship, right? We learn how to, we can agree, disagree in the relationship, but we still respect each other, right? And what we're talking about is when there's disagreement, you're not swearing at your partner, you're not discrediting, them as a person. You're not using expressions and words that is really hurtful. So you can disagree, you can agree to disagree, but be respectful, right? Using raw language, swearing at, using language to your partner that sort of discredits them, calling them, really expletive terms. That's not a healthy relationship. That becomes abusive language. And when you hurt your partner, you hurt yourself, you hurt the relationship. So we want to look at, ways to have healthier relationships. The next thing that we want to look at as it relates to a healthy relationship has to do with intimacy and sex. Okay? Intimacy and sex. That's not a big thing. Now, there are healthy ways that we can do that, but there are also unhealthy ways that is done. And when you talk about intimacy and sex, it's important to understand that both partners can be honest about how you feel about being physical with your partner. That's very important. You can be honest with your partner about how you feel about that physical involvement with your partner. Okay, so letting your partner know how you feel about having sexual intimacy with them is a part of a healthy relationship. And if you're not having those conversations with your partner, then you need to get back there, because that's a part of being in a healthy relationship, right? Neither of you should feel pressured to do anything that you don't want to do. That's a healthy relationship. That's a relationship where you have where intimacy and sex is being talked about between the two persons. No pressure on your end, no pressure on their end. There's mutual understanding. And this is a topic that we don't talk about much as well. And guys, I can tell you that being a psychotherapist myself, it's one of those topics that a lot of couples don't talk about, they don't mention, right? It's almost as if talking about sex is forbidden. But if you don't talk about it in your relationship, all right, if you're not satisfied, if you're constantly in that place where you are in need of that intimacy, then how are you going to get that need met unless you're able to talk about that rather with your partner? That's a part of nurturing and creating a healthy relationship, and that needs to be looked at and addressed within the context of intimacy and sex. Let your partner know what that is, and as we talk about that, remember this beautiful book called, The Five Love Languages. And, as we look at the love languages in there, some of the things that were alluded to in that book is understanding your partner's love language and taking the time to connect with them where they're at in order to improve the intimacy and the sex in the relationship. And that's key to what? Having a healthy relationship. So those are some of the pieces that we need to pay attention to as it relates to what a healthy relationship looks like. So you have got to sort of evaluate, am I in a healthy relationship? We just want to reset the room to remind you guys that you can go back and listen to the full episode of our podcast on our YouTube channel at XY Spark. You can also go back and look at clips on TikTok. You can also listen to the audio on xyspark.podbean.com. And please, you are more than welcome to write a comment. You're more than welcome to make some suggested topics that you'd like us to really work on. And you're also more than welcome, guys, to join in the conversation as we offer live life coaching call right here on the podcast. So as we continue our conversation, guys, we're talking about healthy relationships, and as we are, more and more and more uh, connected, as we are more and more in tune with being in a relationship, it's very important for us to understand what a healthy relationship looks like, and also to understand that, hey, this is not what it looks like. So as you're interacting, as you go off into the holiday season, it's for you to go in and evaluate, am I in a healthy relationship? And if I'm not, what do I need to do to make my relationship better? And oftentimes, as men, we are guilty of not paying attention to that, right? And because attention to that, we end up hurting ourselves more and more. I want to just remind all my viewers here on TikTok, invite a friend, tell somebody to come and join in our conversation here on XY Spark, right? We are here weekday mornings, Monday through Friday at 5:30 a.m. This is your boy, your men's life coach Rolando on XY Spark, and our goal and our aim here is to talk about men's mental health and wellness. It's about empowering men to be the best version of themselves. We also want to acknowledge all our female viewers who come here every single morning. We appreciate you. You bring a different flavor to our viewers, and we want to say thank you, ladies who are here to share your comments and to listening as well. So we're talking about what a healthy relationship looks like. The next thing that we want to talk about as relates to a healthy relationship is time apart, spending time apart. If you're in a relationship and you find that as a man you're too clingy or you're too controlling, you have to stop doing that. That's a sign of insecurity. That's a sign that you're lacking something. You're not confident as a man. You need to work on that. You need to work on not being so clingy, not being so controlling. You have to work on, hey, I need to know where you are all the time, every minute of the day. Listen, guys, I'm going to tell you this. If you're in a relationship, if you have a partner and you feel like that's what you need to be doing every single day, then the person might not be the right person for you. And I did say it, guys. I did throw it out there. Hey, Mario, good to have you. Welcome. I see you, Blood. Welcome. But if that's what you are doing as a man, if that's what you're doing to secure your relationship foundations, then maybe that person is not the right person for you. That's not a healthy relationship. And if you're doing that, you are being abusive towards your partner, and you have got to not be that person. Now, it's important to remember, right, that if you are not healthy yourself, you cannot become a part of creating a healthy relationship. So if you want to have a healthy relationship, it's important for you to work on yourself so that you can be healthy. If you realize that your partner is struggling with their mental health in any way, whether they have lots of OCD tendencies, whether they struggle with drugs or alcohol, whether they struggle with their self-esteem, whether they struggle with depression or they're anxious, then you need to seek to see how you can support your partner so they can work on themselves. So there's so many different pieces that needs to be dealt with as it relates to a healthy relationship, right? And spending time apart is also a critical piece. So a healthy way is understand that both partners feel, right? And I want to say this, both partners feel good about spending time apart. If you're someone who you can't, or you're never able to do that, you're very clingy, you always want, then you have got to sort of find yourself. Because remember, a healthy relationship means that your partner does not make you complete, they complement you, right? And if you're in a relationship where you're saying, it's because of you why I am who I am today, then what's going to happen? What if that person pass away? What if that relationship ends? Then does that mean that you will no longer exist? So spending time apart is important to have a healthy relationship because it helps you to grow as an individual, right? It helps you to heal as an individual. It helps you to find yourself. It helps you to learn to celebrate your authenticity as an individual. And that's one of the key pieces in spending time apart if you're going to have a healthy relationship. That's your time to reset. That's your time to grow. That's your time to heal. That's your time to experience self discovery. Okay. And that's important as it relates to having a healthy relationship. Spending time apart, learning to grow, learning to discover yourself. Okay. Guys, welcome. Those who are just coming in here on TikTok, welcome. Today's Ugly Sweater Day. You're in tune to your boy, your men's life coach Rolando here in XY Spark, where we talk about men's mental health. And today we're talking about understanding the value of a healthy relationship. How do you become an asset? How do you help to nurture a healthy relationship? Are you someone who is adding and bringing more value to your relationship, or are you someone who needs to work on yourself in order to have a healthy relationship? So we just spoke about time apart, and please remember you can go back and listen to the full episode of our podcast on our YouTube channel at XY Spark. Okay, or you can listen to little clips here or there, or you can listen to the audio on XY Spark at podbean.com. Please like, share, comment. If you have any topic that you'd like us to talk about, please feel free to type us on the back end. Send us a message here on TikTok. You can also find us on Instagram, and we are just here to tell you our goal is to create a safe space for men to continue to build and strengthen their mental health. So spending time apart is a big thing. The next piece that has to do with a healthy relationship is using words. The words that we use are important. Both partners try to try to not be too hard, or not to express themselves too harshly to each other. That's what a healthy relationship looks like. So, there are going to be those days where you're feeling really frustrated. Pardon me. You have to learn how to express that to your partner, not too harshly. That's a healthy relationship, right? Being in touch and in tune with your emotions so that you can express that in a healthy way. No, not every day you're going to get that right, guys. I'm going to be real with you. You're not going to get that right every day, but you get it right more days than not. If every time you're expressing yourself to your partner, you're being verbally aggressive, then that's not a healthy relationship. And you need to work on that so that you can have a healthy relationship, right? So that is, understanding the verbal and how we express that in a verbal way. Now, the next piece that we want to look at is having a healthy relationship. It comes to, that piece of balance. There should be no violence in your relationship, right? There should be no violence at all, whether it is physical, verbal, emotional, or psychological. We're talking about a healthy relationship, right? There's no physical violence, no pushing, no slapping, no shoving, no shaking, no punching, or choking. None of that should be there in a healthy relationship. There should be no forcing of sexual intimacy in a healthy relationship. There should be no threat of violence in your relationship. Guys, I'm saying that I'm putting it out there because when you look at the stats in Canada, for example, domestic violence is at an all-time high. They are seen and referring to it now as like a pandemic. More men are abusive towards their women than ever before. Women also are abusive towards their men physically. And I'm saying that when you're in a healthy relationship, this does not happen on either side of the fence. So having a healthy relationship, guys, it's critical to really be in tune and be mindful about what that looks like. So are you in a healthy relationship? Did you hear anything today that says, hey, you know what? I probably need to reset the temperature in my relationship. And guys, if you heard anything here today that you can say, hey, you know what? Yes, I need to work on that. Then my encouragement to you is, hey, go connect with somebody. Go sit down and talk to somebody to strengthen the foundations of your relationship. Because a healthy relationship just does not happen. It takes a lot of work. It's challenging. You need to get in there. Hey, Hockey, I see you. Welcome. You need to get in there, and you need to work at it. If you want to have a healthy relationship, it's not something that you can just go and buy in a dollar store or in a thrift store, right? You have to really get down to business and do the work necessary in order to have a healthy relationship, right? You have to really be intentional with what you want to see happening in your relationship. Guys, listen, I just want to acknowledge you for continuing to be a part of our conversation. We appreciate you so very much. We are going to be here every morning, same time, even throughout the Christmas period. We will be here just to have these conversations because we know this, guys, that men's mental health is not a myth. Men's mental health is in crisis. Our goal here at XY Spark is to seek to create a safe space like this where you can join us, you can connect with us, we can talk about how do we as men in 2024 going on to 2025 improve our mental health so that we can be healthier husbands, healthier brothers, healthier grandfathers, healthier members in our community, healthier teachers, oil and workers, executives, construction workers, healthier therapists, whatever it is, healthier sports enthusiasts. We are saying that XY Spark is that space for you to come on in and connect so that we can talk and we can continue to grow together. Thank you for joining us here again for one more episode. Today it's a Thursday, and our theme was what does a healthy relationship look like? It's Transformation Thursday. I want you to go out there and transform your relationships and tell me how it is going. Tell me about it. I want to hear about it. Let's work together on this as we grow. This is your boy Rolando. Thank you for being here again on XY Spark. I want to also tell you guys before we go that we have an exciting guest that's coming up. We have a few guests lined up. All right. You may not see them live here in the morning, but we'll have pre recordings and we're going to be talking about some powerful things. So I want you to look out for that. Okay. I want you to be in tune as we continue those conversations. Always remember this, guys, that personal development is not an event, it is a lifestyle. Join us again for another episode here on XY Spark. Tomorrow morning, it will be Freedom Friday. Please put it on your calendar and be here with us. And as usual, we continue to remind you that at XY Spark, we believe that there is a spark in you. We will see you again next time. Have a great day.